Well, thanks for being willing to do the interview, for starters. Its objective is to just get the focus on individuals and hear their stories and stuff like that. So we'll just start. So, what is your name and how old are you?
I'm Christopher Range and I'm 31 years old.
All right. Would you want to share a little bit of your life story, whatever you feel comfortable with? Kind of give us some context on who you are.
Yeah, so I moved around a lot. I was a military brat. So, born in Korea, moved to New York, spent some time here in Hawaii, Germany. My dad eventually retired out of Kentucky, Fort Knox area, so close to Louisville. Um, I myself went to U of L for college and joined the Army myself, where I moved to where I was stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia. Moved back to Kentucky. Spent like 2 years going to grad school at U of L again for English for a little while. Then went to SBTS. Now I'm here in Hawaii, going to the seminary, Packer Seminary. So where I met you.
Sweet. Awesome. Sweet. So now that we have just a little bit of history, what would you say makes you you? What makes Chris Chris?
Uh, I uh, I guess as far as identity wise, when I was in the Army, I was a Ranger, as you know, and I said earlier in the video, my last name Range. So there was a sense in me trying to find my identity in the world, trying to figure out who I was, and using my work and pursuing within my work a way to identify myself. So in the Army, I became a Ranger. I was Ranger Range. So it worked well. You know, it has a little rhyme to it, a little alliteration. So I think for many people, when they are able to find something they're able to identify with confidently, something they're proud of, like in a sense a title or something like that, it goes a long way to just give confidence to that person. And for me, that was one of the things that I felt like I really drew confidence from, was finding my identity in my work. It was good work. It was one that I was proud of, one I worked hard for as well. So that in and of itself helped me a lot as far as just being confident and just knowing who I am and my capabilities. So. Other things I try, so my undergrad was in psychology, and I've done stuff. I was in Boy Scouts. I wrestled in high school. There's other things along the way that trying to figure out who I am, trying to see what I was good at, stuff like that. I guess in one sense, me being in the Army though and reaching that title and that stature just allowed me to be more confident though.
Nice. What was the most defining moment of your life?
To go back to my time in the Army, that might have been one. When I was at Southern Baptist Theological Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky, I had a lot of conflict with who my identity in Christ, and also just how my thoughts and how I raised my own denomination and how I thought about God and my relationship with God. So there was probably a lot of, that was a very critical moment in my life, and ultimately that's what led me here. Undergrad, graduating with my bachelor's in psychology, that was big for me. Just being able to have my degree at a young age, small things like that. I say are the smaller accomplishments. I wouldn't say maybe the biggest one would be the Army, the Ranger unit I was stationed with. I'm very proud of what I was able to do there. So I think that might be it. Yeah.
If somebody asked you what you believed in, what would you tell them?
I'd say I believe in God, and Jesus Christ is how I know God, through Him. I believe that everyone believes in God in one way or another, though I think it might be twisted in how they believe in Him. But ultimately, everyone believes in a higher power, and what they want to call it, how they see it, what they attribute to it, what they believe is part of that, and what is not a part of that. I believe that's each individual has. Yeah, I would say I would know God, and I know Him through His Son Jesus Christ. It was made possible through that.
Hmm. Sort of a follow-up question on that. What would you say is the most important thing in life?
To know God. I say I'm doing a good job at it, and not to sound too arrogant or puffed up, but in all that you do, whether you're investing in something, where you're progressing through your work, I would say the most important thing is to know God. I think that matters. No matter what arena you are in your life, you will leave that arena and walk into another arena, but who you are when you walk out from one arena to the next, I think that deals with your relationship with God. I think He's the one that allows us to cross borders, to move from one place to another, and that our relationship will determine how we act, or our relationship with Him will determine how we act while in transfer from one arena to the next.
What would you say your greatest accomplishment has been so far in life?
I mean, this is kind of similar to the earlier question, right?
Yeah.
I would say probably, either this, it's always good for someone to feel accomplished from their schoolwork, so that you pay a lot for it, so you should feel accomplished for it. The Army was, quite an accomplishment for me. Earlier it was like more critical, like what was the most critical point in your life? Was that the question?
Yeah, that was
earlier?
one of them.
Okay. I do believe that once graduating at the seminary here and able to start investing in the ministry that I will be going to, and I've talked to you about my ministry, really takes me into making sure that the faith is handed off from one generation to the next. That's where the focus of my ministry is, and that's what I hope for one day to be my greatest accomplishment is that that in that struggle, in that fight, that I was able to help pass down the faith while others might not, or just watch it just idly go away, or just stood by and watch it deteriorate. I want to be one that said, no, I fought for the faith, and I wanted to see it handed down properly to the next generation.
Wow. Let's see, what makes you most happy?
I really like connecting with people, and just being comfortable with people. I guess that goes a long way, because you could be in the best situation with uncomfortable people, and how good is that going to be? Like, how happy are you really going to be? If I had $1 million, but I have to turn my head around my shoulder every time someone walks in the room, I'm not going to be happy. But then I could be poor and living with a bunch of dudes that I feel comfortable with, and I could be happy with that. So I really, just a relation, just to know people who are around me, for them to know who I am.
Wow.
That I don't have to dress myself a certain way, or make sure I remember the different lives I told them, or the different stories I told with each person, but just being comfortable and being able to be who I am with the people I'm with.
Yeah. Okay. What are you most afraid of?
Bad investment. I kind of don't think this calls into question of faith, because I've come to the point where I realize, well, I'm going to invest in my faith because I don't want to invest in anything else. But when it comes to maybe a certain avenue professionally, and I felt like I invested all this time and effort, I'd like to get into my work. I like to be really passionate. So I spent a couple of years working with this group of people, and I feel like afterwards that I could have used that for something else. With people, if I felt like I pour a lot into a relationship and it doesn't work out, I feel like I wasted those years. I really, we don't know how people are going to be, how things are going to turn out.
Yeah.
So I do have a fear of, and part of that's probably what driven me into doing what I do now, is working with the faith, because I have a pretty sure confidence that what I'm doing is not going to be for lost. So in that sense, that fear kind of drove me into this, where I'm at now in my life. But fear of the lack of return on investment, a bad investment, just wasting time, vanity.
Wow.
Is, it scares me. I worry about that sometimes. Like, I'm really doing any good? Am I really being useful right now? Or am I just being useless? A drain on people even? Am I the bad investment? That stuff fears me.
Wow, that's making me start to think about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like it's. I mean, it sounds kind of like selfish in the sense that it's monetary, because investments in monetary term.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, I'm fearful about losing money, and yeah, in one sense, if you want to count, but I'm thinking about time and effort and passion that is just going to waste, kind of thing.
It's really good. When do you feel most loved as a person? What's your love language?
As far as people, I don't know. I've been kind of distant. I haven't pursued a personal relationship in a while. Yeah.
How about by your roommates?
Oh, my roommates? Let's see. I don't know, when we argue. But it was when we argue, and then 5 minutes later, we're acknowledging each other's points.
Yeah.
We're acknowledging each other's faults, and being open about and being clear about it. Still talking about or making jokes of it in lightheartedness, but pointing out to each other, like maybe you should look at this more and stuff like. But arguing, but also feeling comfortable after the argument's done. Realizing someone might have got worked up a little bit about something, complaining that they drug you into an argument for no reason, or you wasted my last hour I was supposed to eat, or I have to go somewhere. So like being comfortable with other people who are in the same kind of pursuit, being comfortable with each other so that we can argue, but at the same time we do it respectfully, and knowing that it's none of it's for harm at the end. None of us, I feel like, have the intention of like harming each other.
Right. That's when you feel most loved.
Yeah, in the sense that we could go back, we could wrestle and fight about these things, and I guess it's kind of like you have to cut yourself to, like the emo kids, they cut themselves to feel pain, but like in a sense, but like with each other, we go hard with each other, but we also know afterward by the result that we still, love each other. We do have the best intentions for each other. Yeah. I say I haven't, like I guess I just to reiterate from earlier, I haven't pursued a relationship in a while. I do feel, I wish I could choose when God graces me with those special moments, those mountaintop moments, but we don't get to choose them. So I do feel loved by God in the sense that He graces me with them, and I do like how it's not on my choosing. Like I could work for it, and if I'm sure if I disciplined myself better and chose my routes that would accommodate Him being able to show His grace more, I would have more of those. But at the same time, though, it's good knowing that they come from Him, and it's not me doing anything about it. But yeah, and it's usually those happen when I'm alone.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. I feel like it's personal one-on-one
with the Lord.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Second to last question: what do you want to be remembered by?
To go back earlier, I do believe that there is a test of endurance, a test of the faith, a testing of the faith, particular in our generation, and I don't want to be known as somebody who just stood by and complained that to complain to say like, oh, it's happening, the generation losing their faith. Who cares? Don't do anything about it. These kids are lost in the sauce anyways. I want to be remembered for being on the fight that said, no, we're going to keep pushing for the passing on of this faith. We're going to pass down this mantle, where I want to hand it off properly as best I can to the next generation.
Wow. All right. Last question. What advice would you give to anybody watching this video on YouTube? Life advice.
Life advice. Hold on to the cross. Find out as much as you can about it. Use it. Learn about it. Use it to navigate your world. Use it as a standard, a point of reference. Carry it with you always from one room to the next, from one house to another. Realize what the story behind it, the cost, the effort, the ups and downs, the rights and lefts, the turns that brought it about.
Hmm.
Um,
Cross.
the cross. And life is a beautiful thing. Not to say that we don't have life everlasting if we choose the right route, but our time here on earth, this is where we could do the dirty work. Now I believe in a kingdom that will always exist. I have faith in that. And I have faith that I will always be part of that. And once I leave this life, I'll have plenty of time to enjoy that kingdom. But that kingdom does require some dirty work to be done. Some getting your hands dirty, some moving from this place to this place, doing things you don't want to do, working for people you don't want to work for, serving them in ways that means even washing their feet in a sense. No one really wants to do that, but God himself did it when he was down here. So use this time wisely. You'll have all the fun. I have so much confidence in the pleasures of heaven and the enjoyment that we'll get out of it. And try not to cheat myself out of that by focusing on the worldly pleasures of the moment. And do the dirty work now. Do it while you're still here. It's never too early to start on that.
That's really good. Well, a lot to think about. Thank you for being willing to sit down and talk, be open, and share just a little bit of what you've learned from your 31 years of life experience. So, appreciate it.